Hello, everyone. So, in the next week or so, by June 4th here in the US, Saturn will be stationing retrograde. This is the second of a long stream of planets that are going retrograde. Pluto went retro a month or so ago, Saturn now. Then we're going to have Chiron and Neptune and Uranus. I'm not sure which order. Most of the planets will be retrograde, just step by step over the next coming months. So we're entering into that period, which reminds me, this is a great time to check out my retrograde class series. I taught last year on the evolutionary meaning of every single planet in retrograde. You can check that out in the description below. You can either buy the whole series or just buy an individual class. I think it's a really great way of connecting with the energy of the retrograde planets. Okay, so let's tune into this. Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, it's been a big theme. Saturn in Aquarius has been a huge theme this whole year, squaring the nodes. Moving retrograde, there's a great amount of attention and focus on that Saturn right now. This can be reflecting a time where there's a lot of fear. Saturn moving retrograde relative to the Scorpio South Node, a lot of fear and a strong sense of limitation or restriction. This Saturn in Aquarius, in its essence, wants us to grow stronger, further in the direction of what is most aligned with our essential nature. What is it like to live as a human being where we are thriving, where we're building trust, and we're cultivating a ground of community, being a human in a way that feels spacious and freeing and doesn't entrap us into lifestyles and ways of living that don't feel good for us. Where we feel that, where we feel stuck, where we feel a sense of limitation, where our vision or picture of the future feels like embedded with fear and limitation, that is just pointing to where there's a deeper healing happening. And the main offering that I want to bring forward here is, let us not get stuck there. Let us not get stuck in the past either with what didn't work. Let's notice what we're stressed out about, perhaps. What feels fearful or difficult, because this can really be emphasizing. Saturn wants to be functional. Saturn retro square in the nodes, especially in Aquarius, is, man, there can be such another way than what I'm knowing. Right? There can be something so much better. And we can't stress ourselves or past ourselves or future ourselves to get there. The deeper teaching here is to really tend to our own vibration. Living in alignment. If we are so focused on this reality of fear, it's very easy to build a nice home, a very nice looking structure around the fear to normalize the fear. What we want to actually do is look at the content that's actually arising and be very willing to meet it. Be very willing to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes looking at the shadow content and where we're just in a deeply uncomfortable state of being with our own self is scary because we don't want things to change. Saturn never wants things to change from the point of view of the seeming security of normalcy. We need to allow things to be as they are. We need to allow ourselves to feel as we are. We need to allow the structuring of all things in our life, the comings of everything, where all people, places, times, and circumstances are placed, we need to allow it to be exactly what it is and not try to control it. This is the issue with Saturn retro in Aquarius, trying to control the future. Trying to put a triangle in a circle. Letting it be means the organization might feel a little bit anarchistic, a little chaotic at first. But what's organizing is much more intelligent. That's the point. What's coming together holds a much greater intelligent awareness of the larger organism of life itself. And there's safety and there's security in being with the process. This is actually a great time where Aquarius, friends and helpers will show up for us. It might be just like, here's a little thing for you to know, right? Here's a perspective. So often Aquarius is just a matter of shifting our perspective, right? We're focusing on a reality and it becomes this whole world that we think exists, but it's just the matrix. We just set back a little bit into a little more of an observer state of mind. And we see, oh, that's just a thought. That's just a thought. There can be a lot of anxiety relative to not feeling that our lives are moving in the direction of the future that we truly want. And I think it's in those moments where the most precious healing happens. The temptation here would be to become hardened and fearful and isolated, right? There's a possibility at this time in growing stronger together, right? Growing stronger and recognizing the truth of togetherness. Not trying to create resolution, but just be it our own lives, the state of the collective, the state of the world. I actually had a dream recently where Ram Dass told me, whatever irks you about the world, go within and do the work on that. I just love the invitation and how radical that is. What if the problems of our life weren't things that we needed to tackle head on and do something about? What if we can actually look within at what irks us and see that there's this possibility of shifting our perspective and allowing the algorithm to play itself out? You know what I'm saying? Like Aquarius is the intelligence of life, and it doesn't require our knowing of it to play itself out. We develop our intelligence and we can develop our attunement, we can develop our antennae with respect to it. All right, and that's how we create with it. But to try to make it what we think it needs to be and to move it in the direction, to force it, is actually to be in non-resonance with life. It doesn't really open up our antennae. So that's a teaching on Saturn moving retrograde in Aquarius. This is a great time to just let things be and be open and curious for the greater intelligent healing that is beyond our own understanding, but be willing to learn, to be a good disciple along the journey. Thank you for watching.